Hi, my name is Taylor Parrish, and today I'm going to talk to you about foster care. Raise your hand if you know anyone who is in the foster care system, or maybe you've been through the system yourself. In the U.S., there's over 400,000 children in foster care. My own little brother was actually in foster care before we adopted him. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the system works and what happens when you enter it, how you spend your time in it, and how you leave the system. First, I'm going to talk to you about entering the foster care system. According to Foster Club, a child enters the foster care system when their families are in crisis. Over 50% of children enter the system because of reports of violence against the child. My own brother, Kevin, was our first foster child, and he entered the foster care system as a very, very young child. And when he was 2, we ended up getting him, and we eventually adopted him, so we got him out of the foster care system and we became his forever home. In the foster care system, typically a child spends 20 months in the system, but it can vary. When you're in the system, you can bounce around from house to house. You can have mandatory visits with your biological parents. You can have court appearances, and occasionally parents will take in foster care children just for the money. They will take children with disabilities who require financial aid, and then they'll end up using the money for themselves. This doesn't happen frequently, but it does happen, and usually the families do get caught when they do this, but it doesn't actually happen frequently. But that can actually end up developing PTSD within a child, which could cause more problems further on in life. But along with that can also come from when a child leaves the foster care system. There are a few ways a child can leave the system. The main way is being reunited with their parents. About 50% of children in foster care are reunited with their parents, and about 20% are adopted. My own brother was adopted. So when you leave the system, you don't actually have to be adopted. Once you turn 18, you age out of the system. 25% of children who age out of the system become homeless. Less than 3% graduate college, and 71% of the women who age out of the system become pregnant before the age of 21. So today I've talked to you about how a child enters the system, which is really common, most commonly from reports of violence within their family. The next thing I talked about was how they spend their time in the system and how it's not always just a happy time in the system. It's usually a sad thing, and the child can develop a lot of problems with it, including problems with becoming a criminal or drug dependence. The last thing I talked to you about was leaving the system and how you leave by being adopted, reuniting with your family, or even aging out of the system. And I hope that you've learned from this and you can take away that it's actually a lot more common to be in the foster care system than you would think.